All right, welcome back. This is video number 4. So, as usual, I'm just going to jump straight in. I have a lot to cover, so I'll try to get this done quickly for you. So, last 2 weeks basically have been, I made a minor change to the database to improve its reliability, made some UI updates, and I'll just kind of walk you through this. I did start on the unit test project. I didn't really do anything with it, but I do have the project there, so it's ready to start on at least, and just did some bug fixes and features. And I did pick what I'm going to evaluate this against. So first thing you notice here is the app. It now has this firewall log tab. So the firewall data is now parsed into this data grid, and it has all the columns filterable, selectable, and so forth. So you can do is greater than, equal to than, for things like the timestamp and the IP addresses, the protocols. It has the countries in here too. But I'm going to just reorganize this a little bit so that the countries and everything show up over here instead. But you get the idea. So you're able to, and I wish I could take credit for this, but this is part of the UI framework I use called Telerik, but it comes with all this stuff built in, so it makes it pretty easy to implement something like this quickly. So the other UI change was I added some stuff to the settings tab. So there's now an application log, which will show kind of debugging information from the application. And I started on these tab controls down here to just organize some of the settings. So, and I also added the status bar here at the bottom, which will display information. So I have an error condition if it can't listen to UDP port 514, then it'll like show in red that it can't do it. So those are the more visible changes. Rest are just bug fixes and a lot of refactoring this week. So basically just did that. But everything seems to be working okay with it so far. I've been collecting more data. So the firewall log now has quite a few entries in it. If I can just reconnect here. Hang on a second. Sorry. It doesn't like it when I'm on a VPN, so it was yelling at me. Okay, so I have 21,000 rows. You can't see it, but yeah, it basically shows up here in the tooltip. So 21,000 rows of firewall data. Then, okay, so that's basically what I've been doing the last 2 weeks. It's been a lot of work to get it done, but it's gonna save me work in the long run. So for next 2 weeks, I'm planning on doing more UI work. Essentially, I'm going to finish this settings tab here, and then I'm going to start on the status tab. The status tab is going to have the dashboard stuff. It's going to have the graphs for the geolocation stuff and the IP addresses, types of ports that your firewall is getting data on. I'm going to experiment with some combinations of it just to find out what works, what kind of looks good, what's useful. So, and then I'm going to finish this settings tab view, of course. I kind of just start on this, but I'm going to put a geolocation import tool in here so that you can download geolocation database and it'll update it for you. And it'll run in the background and queue the firewall results while this is working. So I'm also going to write more firewall rules. So right now, if you look at this, you can see that the only firewall rules that are coming in are dropped packets, and hence these are the only ones that show up on here. So I'm going to write a couple more firewall rules that will have the accept and forwarding and reject attributes as well. So I expect the amount of data is going to increase quite a bit after I do this. So then I'm just going to keep collecting the firewall data, and I'm going to work on the evaluation stuff more. I'm going to get a couple of the other programs installed. Like it's basically Splunk, Alien Vault was another one, and the Graylog was the last one. So those are 3 I'm going to evaluate it against and just set up something similar, see how it goes, and go from there. And that's basically it. The feedback I'm requesting this week is if you guys have any like ideas of how to make this look spiffy, things I could add to this dashboard that will make it look nice. They can be graphs. The control library I have is pretty extensive, so you can look it up if you want. It's Telerik WPF, Windows Presentation Foundation. There's graphs, there's all sorts of stuff. So, I mean, if you guys have any ideas, like, feel free to just shoot them my way. All right. Thanks. Have a good day.